What's up? My name is Maury Spears of Maha's Media, and this is my video on the Khamzat fight against Gilbert Burns. Was Khamzat exposed last night? It depends on your perspective. It depends on if you hyped him up enough. Now, based on regular circumstances, Khamzat wasn't exposed. He actually did pretty well being a guy who's ranked number 11 going against the number 2 guy and defeating him. But that's not the case with Khamzat, though. Khamzat's just not a normal number 11 ranked guy. He was highly favored to beat Gilbert Burns. He had a lot of hype on him to the point where people were saying that he could become triple champion. They said he's going to run through Burns, he's going to go through Usman, beat him convincingly, then go up and defeat Izzy, out-wrestle him, then possibly go to the light heavyweight division and take a belt there. There's a lot of hype on him. Because I'm hearing a lot of Khamzat fans saying that, well, he did well for a guy who's ranked number 11, beating the number 2 guy. That's a big deal. Yes, it's a big deal. It'll be a big deal for somebody like Lee. Imagine if Lee, when he was ranked number 11 before Khamzat beat him, imagine him fighting Burns, and he defeated Burns, who was ranked number 2. Lee will be the underdog if he was facing Burns because the expectations on Lee are very low. The issue with Khamzat is that the expectations are so high. His fans were just everywhere in the comment section saying this guy's going to destroy whoever he encounters. This guy is different. We never seen this guy before. I mean, I've never seen a fighter hype this way, hype to the level of Khamzat. So this is the expectations that y'all put on Khamzat, which is why, even though he beat a number 2 ranked guy, he didn't look invincible, and it kind of brought his stock down a little bit. Now, coming from a normal perspective of a guy who's ranked number 11, this is good because now he got experience. He knows how to deal with adversity. He knows to be more patient. Because that's the issue with Khamzat. He wasn't patient in that fight. If he would have established his jab, because as we can see, he knocked him down with a jab. So Gilbert Burns is very vulnerable to jabs. It's something about jabs that get him because they surprise him. If he would have stayed patient and did that, he would have won the fight more convincingly. And he would not have gotten knocked down twice and had his face all bloody. But that's the thing about Khamzat. He's just a maniac who's going to go in there and try to take you out. But when it didn't work, he paid the price. So this is my issue with fighters who are getting rushed. Khamzat's just one of them. One of these fighters who are getting rushed. So when they don't look good, it just puts more pressure on them. So for example, most of the GOATs, most of the legends, our greatest fighters in the UFC, they had losses before they became stars. But the thing is, when they did lose, there weren't all these eyes on them. Everybody wasn't looking at them when they lost during their worst moments. For example, Amanda Nunes, before she became this legend, she had 4 losses. She even lost to Kat Zingano. But people didn't really notice that because people weren't really looking at her back then. They didn't really notice her. So she got time, even though she lost, she had time to get better when people weren't watching her. And there are other fighters like Anderson Silva had 4 losses before he became this legend in the UFC. He got submitted a couple of times, and I think he lost a decision. Even Conor McGregor, he lost like 2 or 3 times before he became this legend. And other fighters as well, I can think. But what I'm trying to say is they lost under the radar when there weren't that many eyes on them. Another one is Max Holloway. Max Holloway lost to Conor McGregor, but people didn't know who Max Holloway was. So when he did lose that fight, he got a chance to build himself up, but everybody wasn't watching him as he built himself up. So that's the issue with fighters like Khamzat who are getting hyped up too fast. When they look bad, everybody's going to notice every little thing. And it happened with Ronda Rousey. She was being hyped up and pushed very fast. So when she lost to Holly Holm, everybody seen it. And it was an embarrassing loss, 1 million pay-per-views. It would be different if she was fighting on the undercard or prelims. Nobody knew who Ronda Rousey was. It won't be that bad. Another fighter who lost with all the eyes on him, Darren Till. Darren Till had a lot of hype. They're really pushing him fast to be the next guy because the UFC has to push these fighters because WME bought the UFC for $4 billion. So WME, who owns the UFC, is trying to recoup that $4 billion and some. So the UFC needs stars to to bring in more money. So that's why they're rushing these fighters, like Darren Till. He's being rushed. He was being rushed. And they put him in there too fast with Tyron Woodley, and he didn't look good at all. He didn't land a punch on Tyron Woodley, and he got submitted. And he hasn't been the same since. He ended up getting knocked out by Jorge. And then he had other losses after that. Sage Northcutt, another fighter that the UFC is pushing to be a star. Y'all pushed him too quick, and he ended up losing a lot of fights. He never lived up to the expectations. And this is the issue. When you lose as a guy who's getting all this hype, everybody's watching you lose. Everybody's watching it. So it's just more difficult for you to build yourself back up. And speaking of like Aljo just defeated Peter Yan in the rematch. Aljo was knocked out by Marlon in the fight. I mean, crazy knockout, a very embarrassing knockout. But Aljo wasn't getting hyped like that. So there weren't that many eyes on him. So it wasn't bad. So he was able to rebuild himself. It would be different if he got knocked out by Yan. Imagine him getting knocked out like that, the way Marlon knocked him out against Yan. Oh, I don't think it'll be so difficult to recover from that. You'll need the strongest mental strength to come back from a knockout like that. So that's the issue. So going back to Khamzat, when you're being hyped like that, despite being ranked number 11, beating the number 2 guy, with that amount of hype, he had to take out Gilbert Burns in like the first or second round. It had to be a dominating performance because you have to live up to that hype. And when you don't live up to that hype, people are going to have certain things to say about you. So what Khamzat needs to do is he needs to be more patient and listen to his corner, because I noticed he wasn't listening to his corner. His corner was angry at him. And just be like, he's trying to impress everybody. He's trying to live up to this hype. He tried to do the same thing he did against Lee, when he lifted Lee up and submitted him. Like, everybody was so hyped up for that. And that bought into the hype as well. So now he's fighting these elite guys. He's going to fight Colby next. And I doubt he's going to lift up Colby like he lifted up Lee. So we're going to see more from Khamzat. We're going to see how he works. Depending on how he looks against Colby, we'll see how the Khamzat-Usman fight turns out. But from what I seen last night, Usman is going to win that fight. And they should not be talking about him moving up to they should not be talking about him moving up to middleweight fighting Izzy, especially after that performance. So like I said, was Khamzat exposed? Yes, he was exposed. Can he bounce back? Yes, he can bounce back. We just got to keep winning. Just got to keep winning, and he got to keep, and the hype has to die down a little bit. People have to calm down and be patient. So going forward, what Khamzat can do is just learn from that experience, go against Colby and put on a great performance. Be more patient with Colby, and unlike with the Gilbert fight. And it may be a different fight. Gilbert is stronger. He has that stronger punch, and Colby doesn't have that power that Gilbert has. But Colby has a solid chin, and his cardio, he has great cardio. So if Khamzat gets tired like he got tired against Gilbert, it's going to be a bad night for him. It's going to be a long night. So let's see, man. I'm looking forward to watching Khamzat's next fight, and hopefully people aren't going crazy over Khamzat, talking about he's going to be a triple champion until he proves himself against the contenders in the welterweight division first. All right, so that's my video. Maurice Spears, Mohouse Media. Look in the description. Check out the article. It's in a link. And that's it. Look out for my other videos.